Hello my dears, and welcome back to my corner of the internet. Today I've got another book talk video to share with you guys. We're going to be talking about The Witches of New York by Amy McKay. I've also got some shoutouts, but I'm going to save those until the end as always. So Amy McKay, she's a Canadian author. She lives on the east coast of the country in Nova Scotia, I believe. Before this, she had two other very successful books, both of which I'd read, The Birth House and The Virgin Cure. They were excellent stories, very well written. So when I saw this, I knew I had to give it a chance because A, I love Amy McKay, but B, I love witches. I love reading books about witches. I love movies about witches. I just love it. I find it so fun, so interesting. So I had a feeling that I would probably enjoy this book, and I wasn't wrong. It's a great story. So the book takes place in New York, as the title would lead you to believe. There we meet inside a small tea shop. The tea shop is called Tea and Sympathy. And there we meet two women, two witches. They're very close friends. They work together. One's name is Eleanor. One's name is Adelaide. Eleanor kind of works with herbs and teas. And then Adelaide, she's a fortune teller. When we meet her, she's been disfigured. She had chemicals thrown on her face and she lost one of her eyes. And how she met Eleanor was, at the time, Eleanor had been hired to be her nurse after she got injured. And during that time, they came to care about each other very much. And then, you know, as they're spending more time together, they get to talking and they both realize that they have separate gifts that would work very well together. Meanwhile, in a small town not too far away, there's a young girl named Beatrice. She's 17 years old. She lives with her aunt. Her parents died when she was young. She sees an advertisement that this tea shop is looking for help. So she gets on the train, packs her bags. She's going to move to the city. She leaves with her aunt's blessings, and she's ready to start her new life. So this book takes place in the late 1800s. So yeah, I just want to get that out there. So she takes the train. Some weird things happen on the train. I'm not going to go into it because we'd be here forever. But then finally she gets to the shop. Now, the ad for the help had been put by one of the women, Adelaide. Eleanor didn't know about it, didn't think they needed help. Adelaide knew she'd be against it, so that's why she didn't tell her in the first place, even though they are in desperate need of help. So when Beatrice gets to the shop, nobody's there. And she knocks at the door, knocks, nobody answers. Finally, the door kind of just opens. She goes in, she's like, hello, and she finds in the back this woman, a fortune teller sitting at a table, and she talks to her and then gets up and passes out because she's been traveling a long time. She hasn't eaten. A lot of weird things have happened during the train trip, like I said, and she just passes out from, you know, whether it's heat or hunger or whatever, she just passes out. So Eleanor comes back to the shop, finds this girl on the floor. First of all, doesn't know why she's there because Eleanor doesn't know about the ad. Second of all, is really worried because there's a young girl passed out on the floor. So Eleanor, with the help of her bird, Eleanor has a pet raven whose name is Perdu. And there's something about him, which we actually don't really find out throughout the book what it is. But there's just something about him. You get the feeling that he knows more than a bird should. He becomes just a really fun character. So anyway, her and her bird, they get Beatrice up, find out what happened. Beatrice is telling her about the woman that was in the shop when she got there. She's describing her, and Eleanor is like, oh God, I know who that was. But she's been dead a long time. So, but she doesn't tell that to Beatrice right off the bat, but Eleanor's kind of thinking, okay, so this girl obviously has very heightened senses, like there's parts of the paranormal that she has tapped into. So she lets Beatrice stay the night, and then when she's talking to Adelaide, they kind of figure it all out. why the girl was there, and they decide to keep her on because clearly she knows things, and you know, she's come all this way, and they decide to take her on. So a lot of the book is you know, the three of them in the tea shop and interacting with other people in the town. Now there are other characters who come into play. There's a Reverend Townsend, who becomes an absolute menace. He knows that there are witches around, and he hates them. And where he is a very God-fearing man, he thinks that it is his job to get rid of them. So he's always keeping his eye out for women that appear strange, that he gets vibes that they're doing strange things, and he actually kidnaps them and puts them in his basement where he tortures them, and then eventually they either kill themselves to get away from him, or they end up dead anyway. He kills them. And this has happened with a few different women. Like, just absolutely horrific. Another character is Dr. Brody. And Dr. Brody was a doctor. He fought in war. He's back now. He's lost an arm. And he's kind of, whereas before the war he was a surgeon, of course now missing a hand he cannot be. So he sort of shifted his work to being a doctor of the mind, like psychology, psychiatry, things like that. And his father before him was the same, but his father had very, especially for at the time, very different strange beliefs, and he believed that he created a device that could let him speak to the dead, or more accurately, let the dead speak to him. And he told his son, he said, after I die, I'm going to write down, he said, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to write down something on a piece of paper. I'm going to put it in an envelope, and I'm going to seal it. When I'm dead, I want you to find someone who claims that they can speak to the dead, or hear the dead, and I want you to ask them to contact me, and then I'm going to give them a message. And then after I give them the message, you go and look up what is in that sealed envelope, and you will know if my device works. So he does. After his dad passes, he begins to look for someone who can possibly do that. So as luck would have it, one of his friends gets it in her mind to set him up with Adelaide. So, because Dr. Brody, his wife, has passed away, and he's alone, he's a bachelor, he's very smart, very great company, so his friend is like, I have the perfect girl for you. So she sets them up, and they're talking, and Adelaide begins to tell him, a bit about what she does, and without, scaring him too much. And he tells her a bit about this device that his father has made. And she says, you know what, I might have just the person. Because as time has gone on, she has realized that Beatrice can see ghosts. And she can hear them, and she can talk to them. And so she's like, I know who to do. I know who can do it. So Adelaide brings Beatrice to Dr. Brody one evening. They set up the machine. She sits down at it, and so begins the contacting of his father. And of course, I'm sure you see where this is going. She gets the message, he opens the envelope, and it's the exact same thing. So he's super impressed and excited, thinking about what amazing new doors will now be open because of this. Beatrice is happy that she was able to help and very excited that it worked. So he kind of wants to unveil this to the world. So they set it up at this hotel where the friend who was setting up Dr. Brody and Adelaide, where it's her hotel, she owns it. So she's setting up a night in one of the conference rooms or ballrooms where people can come. And Dr. Brody can talk about his equipment, and then Beatrice can show people how it works. So now I'm going to get into a bit of spoilers. If this sounds really interesting to you and you want to read it and you don't want to know anything that happens towards the ending, that'll do it for us for today. But if you want to keep listening, here we go. So the night comes when Beatrice is ready to do her
big, what's the word I'm looking for? Her big demonstration.
So Beatrice is ready to do her demonstration. She's waiting backstage. She's very nervous, so she feels like she needs to get some air. She goes outside for a bit, and while she is out there, she runs into a man. This, of course, is Reverend Townsend, and the next thing she knows, she wakes up and she's in his basement. She's, of course, very scared, but what scares her even more is, of course, where this is Beatrice, and she can communicate with the dead, and many people before her have died in this basement. She sees the ghost of one of the other women who he had kidnapped and who committed suicide in order to avoid being tortured by him further. So she really starts to tell Beatrice the things that she's learned about him, trying to help her convince him that she is not a witch and that he should just let her go. Because what he wants is to convert these witches into God-fearing women, and what his opinion of that is. And then bring them to the church and be like, look, I've saved one. I've saved them. He wants to save them. He doesn't, he's not there initially to kill them. Not that that matters, but he wants to save them. So this ghost is sort of trying to tell her, like, convince him. This is what he wants. Convince him, and then he will let you go, So she tries to do that. But during it, once she's almost got him convinced, the ghost kind of just loses sight of where they're trying to get, and she paints a charm or a curse on the wall. He comes back downstairs and of course thinks it was Beatrice who did it, because he can't see anybody else there, and everything just kind of implodes, and he's like, no, you are a witch, you're not changing. And yeah, so anyway, what happens with that is eventually she catches the basement on fire and is able to escape when he comes in to see what's going on. She's able to kick him, get him down, and she gets out. So that's the gist of the story. There, of course, is much more to it than that, so if you find it interesting, definitely check it out. There's been so much and so many characters and people and situations that I've left out that even if you've listened to the whole thing, you'll still get a lot out of the book. It's just really great. There were some bits that I found a little fluffy, and I'd kind of wished that maybe it was a little darker. But all in all, it's just a fantastic story. She's a great writer. There is some cheesy dialogue, though, especially towards the end. But don't let that put you off, especially if you love witches. I think you'll just have a lot of fun with the story. There's some real history mixed in with the fiction, which is very interesting. I loved hearing, the spells they'd create, the charms that they'd make, the herbs that they'd use, and what they would use them for. I just thought that was so great and so fun. So yeah, if you've read this book, I'd love to know what you thought about it. Or if you've read any of Amy McKay's other books, honestly, The Birth House and The Virgin Cure, they're both great. So now, before I go, let's jump into these shoutouts. These are 3 amazing channels that I love watching. The first one, I'm going to say this name wrong, and I truly apologize because I hate saying people's names wrong. But Manuel Lo Joe, I'm sorry. Manuel has a great channel. He does gaming, he does skits, he's got this beautiful girlfriend that's in some videos with him. I just really love watching his channel. He's very, very funny. Definitely, if you like that kind of stuff, go and check him out. You won't regret it. He's also a very supportive YouTuber, and it just means the world to me. Second of all, we have Denise Wilson. Denise is this extremely talented artist. She does portraits and they're just so gorgeous. She also does makeup looks and she's beautiful. I absolutely love watching her channel. She is a very, very sweet woman. And if you like art and makeup, definitely go and check her out. Really great content. And the final one for today's shout out video is Kimberly Cochran. She has a channel where she does some vlogging, and she's just an incredibly sweet seeming woman. She's so positive and just her smile is so radiant. Every time I watch one of her vlogs, it just makes my day better. And hopefully you will feel the same way as well. So if you love not daily vloggers, but if you love vloggers, definitely go and check out her channel. And if you check out these guys, please let them know that I sent you. And yeah, that's it for today. I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll see you on Monday. Bye, guys.